So welcome to another lecture. Here we are looking at another protocol in the application layer. So far we looked at MQTT, which is both running at application and session layer, and after that we looked at COAP for constrained devices. Now the third one in the same series is WebSocket. So this is again aligned more towards IoT applications. Okay, so WebSocket has got a lot of features. They are written here. They have low latency. They almost operate at real time. Then full duplex operation, long running. They retain their states and they runs over a single TCP connection. So let us have a quick comparison between HTTP and WebSocket. So this WebSocket implementation is a lightweight version of HTTP with more added features. You can spend some time on this slide and understand what are they. And I will quickly tell you the main highlights. First thing is it's a full duplex communication. That means both client and server can exchange data at the same time, and the server can also initiate connection, which is not the way in which happens in HTTP. HTTP, the connection is initiated by the client always. And the rest of the features you can go through the slide, pause the video here and understand. I'm not explaining all the terms here. Okay, so certain features which are optional in HTTP has been implemented as a core feature in WebSocket. The idea is to make it as lightweight as possible. Now, the full duplex aspect we need to spend some time. So full duplex means sender and the receiver can exchange the data at the same time. Okay, so this feature allows the server to initiate connection. So this server can push data. If you look at normal HTTP, it's actually a pull type. The client pulls whatever it wants. So in implementing this, we can either go for an interrupt based application or a polled application. So polling means continuously checking whether there is any change in the state or data and communicate. Interrupt is event driven. Suppose a sensor value goes beyond a particular threshold, it triggers a communication. So if we use HTTP, IoT applications will work, but it will not be at the optimal point. So these are some parameters or the way in which a normal web page works. So you have connection is closed after an object is sent, then again reloading the entire web page. So some disadvantages are given. So the takeaway message from this side is the style of operation results in lot of data transmission, which is not acceptable in the case of IoT, because every byte you transmit consumes power from the battery. So we don't want to waste it unnecessarily. So let us be very optimistic in that. That's why HTTP is not an attractive solution. And again, this is not real time. So we need, wherever we need real-time sensor monitoring, HTTP is not an option. Now, so in the traditional web communication, the client can load a part of the web page. If it is going by AJAX style, it can refresh a part of the web page without getting the entire data. So it will be always communicating to the server in the background. Now that is also not a very good solution for IoT. So this the AJAX style of working is actually running on top of XML HTTP request, which is known as XHR. So AJAX is an incarnation of XHR. So you can find out more details on XHR. So the idea about XHR or AJAX, whatever it may be, is to continuous modification of a web page without reloading the entire contents. That's the whole idea. So this also is not an solution for IoT, because there is always some communication going on in the background to the server. So that will take up our battery. Now let us understand how this actually works with the WebSocket. So here in the normal HTTP system, the client is asking the server, is there any message like that? Because there is no way that the server can push something to the client. So if you have WebSocket, that is, initially you start the communication with HTTP, then you upgrade it to WebSocket, then after that the server can communicate. Okay, so this is the way it will be running with the WebSocket communication. Initially the HTTP will be used to start the communication, then both parties, if they are supporting WebSocket server, then they will upgrade the connection to WebSocket and they operate in WebSocket semantics. Okay, so these are the same thing which I told you earlier. You can pause a moment here and read what is given in the slide. Now the polling of the server can be done in different ways. So this is telling you, this slide talks to you about some alternative methods through which the server can send some data to the client. So the whole the basic idea behind all this discussion is the client will connect and then will the connection will be kept open, idle, so that whenever server has some data to send, it will send. So this we explain with the technical terms such as long polling, comet, etc. So you have some applications also listed here. It can work with the way Gmail chat works, Facebook works, etc. So this you can spend a time on this slide and read and understand. So nothing here complicated to explain. So till now we have seen that to have something, some communication initiated by the server is possible only if the client keep the connection open, like long polling. Here also we have the overhead of HTTP, because everything is going on top of HTTP, and HTTP header is one of the heaviest header that we have studied so far. So I request again, I have been telling you this many times, please go back to HTTP header and see how many bytes are there, what are the fields there, and why it is heavy. Now these issues, the issue is how are we going to make the server to communicate to the client without being long polling or without using HTTP. So these issues are clearly addressed by the WebSocket. Let us see how it has been done. So WebSockets have what is known as a persistent bidirectional connection. So by persistent, we know that it remembers the state. So it's like it retains whatever happened before, and it is full duplex. Okay, so this feature allows you to have very less overhead in communication. At the same time, you have full duplex feature. Okay, now how are we running WebSockets along with HTTP, or can we completely replace HTTP with WebSocket, and what is the answer for that? So this anything that we design new should work side by side with a legacy protocol, because you cannot make an announcement in the internet that okay, from October 1st onwards stop using HTTP, all of you migrate to WebSocket. That will not work. The only way is you allow them to coexist, then gradually the older protocol will vanish. So it starts with an HTTP compatible handshake, and then once HTTP communication is done and both parties realize that they can go to WebSocket mode, they upgrade. Okay, so then they switches to the WebSocket protocol, and that is where WebSocket semantics comes into picture. Okay, so look at here, this clearly says, so the initial request is going from client the same way as your HTTP. So you initiate a request, then server response, then only this is WebSocket based communication. Okay, so we have an example coming at the end of the session, so you can try out all these things. So your upgrade field will be used. So certain things here on the slides will be made use to make questions for your quizzes. So spend some time here and understand. So now this is running on top of Transport Layer Protocol TCP. So obviously we will ask, sir, HTTP server was running at port 80. So when you communicate with WebSocket, can we communicate over the same port, or should we need another port? The answer is yes, we need another port. So port number 80 is used for normal HTTP, and SHTTP will be used for 443. Now WebSocket is using a different protocol. Not protocol, different port number. So before going to the port number details, one more thing with respect to the application data size. So here WebSocket header is only 2 to 6 bytes long. You have client only and 2 bytes opcode and length. Extended length if there is some more data is here. So the original HTTP RFC does not put any limit for the payload data, but the actual implementation of web servers do that, and that is dependent on the web server you are using. If you are on Apache, it's 8 KB, and Microsoft Internet Information Server, it is 16K. So similar to that, WebSocket also has a maximum size of connection, size of data. So this point, just for your awareness, not that important. Now how do we operate HTTPS over WebSocket? So traditionally, HTTP runs over TCP, normal HTTP. So operation is like, if you want secure operation, we put one more layer of encryption in transport layer, that is known as transport layer security, and this becomes HTTPS. It goes to 443 port number, as I told you earlier. Along the same lines, the originally the WebSocket will work like this. The moment you apply this one, what is known as TLS security for WebSocket, that is WebSocket secure WebSocket, WebSocket secure connection, it shifts to another port number. Okay, so WSS port number is different. So WSS works at port number 443. This was explained in the previous slide. I think I did not explain here at that time. Okay, so you can find it later. So WSS is at port number 443, whereas WS is at port number 80. Now you have a demo program. The code description contains the link to the code. So real-time WebSocket connection between sensor and ESP8266, a Node.js server. So this code is there. So you have to create an extension to Chrome, which is actually a WebSocket client, and then we have WebSocket server running at the Node MCU, which is running. So Node MCU is actual any device, is sensor to push the data to the WebSocket server. Now you can get the data from the Node MCU client, which will be putting the data to the server, which is running as part of the Chrome. So the code and explanation is here. So you will connect to the server and update. So in the server you can see the data. Okay, so you can try this program. The code is given here, and you can capture the packets with the Wireshark, and then I understand that the packet is from it is going as per the WebSocket semantics rather than HTTP. Okay, So you can find out which port it is going, and also some more examples are given how to get the real